Alright, so this is a video on solving two-step inequalities. First thing you want to start off with is find where the term is with your variable. Okay, so if I start with that, that's going to help me because I'm going to now notice that this is the side I'm going to deal with, and I'm going to try to take care of everything else that's not inside this box. So I'm going to start off with using the additive inverse, so subtract 3 on both sides. It's the opposite of adding 3. I can bring down this 7a, minus 3 go away, and I get 21 over here. My last step is then to divide by my coefficient, which is 7, and I get a is less than or equal to 3, at which point you can graph. Okay. Let's take a look at a second example. Another example here. So once again, here's my term with the variable. All right. I notice that there's a negative 8 here, so I'm going to add 8 to both sides. All right. I bring this down. Negative 2m, those cross out, is greater than or equal to positive 4. This time when I divide by my coefficient, dividing by a negative right here means that the inequality symbol will switch directions. And so that would be my answer right there. Okay, you can graph those later. Let's take a look at this example now. Now what happens if I have variables on both sides? Well, I don't want variables on both sides. I need to bring one over to the other side. In order to move things from side to side, just like we did before, we add the opposite. So here I'm going to go ahead and decide to subtract 2g because that's adding the opposite. Alright, on this half it's going to go away. Here it simplifies to 3g. This negative 12 just drops down and this positive 18 just drops down. Sign stays the same. Now it looks like a problem that we did before. So now you can see that I'm going to add 12 to both sides. Okay, if I add 12, 3g comes down, greater than or equal to, and then I get 30 on this half. Lastly, I can divide by my coefficient, and I get g is greater than or equal to 10. Once again, you can graph those. Okay, let's take a look at some more challenging type of questions. Let's take a look at this next one. All right, so once again, I have variables on both sides of the inequality. I don't want them on both sides. I can move either this one this way, or I can move the 2f this way. I'm going to try to keep my variables positive, so I'm going to add 4f to both sides. Okay, you could have also subtracted 2f, doesn't matter. So if I bring down the 35, those cross out, I get 6f and then positive 7. Now I've got my variable over here. I can see that if I subtract 7, that'll allow me to have my variable by itself here. So if I subtract 7, I get 28 is greater than or equal to 6f. And then you just divide by that coefficient of 6. And so f, keep the sign like that. Now 26 is not going to go into there evenly. It will go in 4 times, which means 24 with 6 remaining. So that's 2/3. And you can double check that later. Alright, let's take a look at a couple more examples here. What happens when I have a parenthesis? Well, I distribute. When I see the parentheses, I distribute. So I get 4z minus 28 is less than or equal to 35. Alright, now this just looks like the problems that we did before. You can add 28 to both sides of the inequality. 4z comes down. Okay, add these two things together. It goes 3, and that's going to be 63. And then you can divide both sides by that 4 and simplify that problem. So z is less than or equal to, let's see, it's going to go in 1 time, 423, 5 times, and 3/4. And you could double check my answers on those, but just doing that real quickly. Last but not least, what happens when I have both parentheses and variables on both sides? Well, just take one step at a time. I get 9c minus 27 is less than 29 plus 2c. Okay, I've got variables on both sides of the inequality. So I'm going to decide to subtract 2c on both sides. Okay, that gives me 7c minus 27 is less than 29. Okay, I'm going to now notice that I can add 27 to both sides. Okay, I get 7c is less than 56. And last but not least, divide by my coefficient, and I get c is less than 8. Alright, hopefully the video helped you out, and if you need more help, just ask during class.